Take your top off!
Hold it down, jeans.
Keep your top on if that's what makes you feel comfortable.
Thank you. Take your defences down and give us raw poetry. This is helping. I'm new to this. Okay, this first one's about religion. You've been warned. In most Anglican churchyards, there is a yew tree. They're poisonous, tall and gangly. You can spot one easily. With their rusty red bark, their cupped bell berries and their needles, they're evergreens, you see, but persistently weird. I was told that the yews came first, and then the bodies and the churches sprouted around them, the ground made hallowed by roots and graves rather than a house. If you see a row of lumpy trunks with fat spade leaves, those are limes. They follow you as you walk through the graveyard, knobbly but straight, twisted yet formal. Their ghostly flowers mingle in with the confetti on spring wedding days. I remember looking up at them as a child and thinking, one day, when I was older, they would be turned into pews, because that's what you do with trees. You cut them down. Maybe they would become Bibles. If you see a hardwood tree with a touch of silver, a smooth trunk, long pale leaves, the berries orange, bats a hornbeam. My grandfather planted one over his grave, our family grave, hopefully my grave. In the summer it hangs over us to give my parents and my grandparents and my great aunt Hilda shade. The church is just behind, but the hornbeam does most of the work shade-wise. I hang suet balls in the boughs for the birds, and a toad lives in the vase holder. I swear in some days I have felt ghosts over my shoulder, and when I feel that shade, I feel looked after. I never told my grandmother I was a pagan. She was a Catholic of sorts, but she wasn't fussy about names. I never told her how not straight I was and how much I hated pews. If I had, she wouldn't have understood, I'm sure. But we enjoyed communion all the same. I come down every Christmas for the nativity play. I visit her grave, and the hornbeam leaves will hit me in the face as retribution. And I've made amends the only way I know how, with prayers and spells. I hum hymns as I walk about St. George's and the Holy Wells, about the ancient yews and the regimented lines. He says, "Thou shalt have no God before me." She says, "Let naught stop you or turn you aside as you strive to your highest ideal." The church facing east meets the dawn, but west is Glastonbury tall. Christ has his arm open, but my lady, she has horns. She's out on the moors. She's not looking for me. She's walking the peat tracks by Ossiers and Teasel. I haven't been to Jerusalem. I wouldn't know if it's green there. There's not enough room in my heart for two masters, only loved. I'm sure I can be shared. This is the second one, and it's about killing yourself in the most efficient way possible. I am not death-worthy, but I'm clearly not into a life commitment either. So I have a solution. We find someone who is. Imagine, if you will, another woman, one who always remembers to take her makeup off at the end of the day and refrains from touching her face, who reads all of the petitions sent to her by 38 Degrees, who has plenty of anecdotes and knows when to share them, who can point to Syria on a map, a woman who can instinctively hold a baby, in short, a miracle worker. I want to donate my body and all of its processing power to her. On weekends, I, through her, would have all of those coffee dates with friends she keeps meaning to have, and afterwards I'd ring her mother and write thank you cards after her birthday. She'd get my brow size measured and foundation shade tested, and I'd separate all her lights and darks. She'd use my staggering amount of free time to Google what a free market is, as well as hand in all of her formative assignments. She would get up at 6:30 and actually eat breakfast and jog, before setting off on a road trip across America to comfort all the lost and hurt Democrats with Pinterest mug cakes she made from scratch. Then, disembarking on the Alaskan coast, she'd go to Russia and join Pussy Riot. Fuck it, she'd start several trans-Siberian feminist punk collectives before leading her revolutionary army back to Britain and using her forces to instigate the widespread use of green energy. She'd get Richard Dawkins to chill the fuck out. And she'd iron out things in the Middle East. And she'd be a scientist in the meantime. I'd be an experiment. She could kill my body, surf right through into the consciousness to the other side, go right into the light, meet Jesus, Kuan Yin, and Terry Pratchett over a road twister, whilst multitasking and becoming compost for the local community allotment, and then be reborn as the next Dalai Lama, making total efficiency of my body in full circle. I don't want to waste myself. Do I have to waste myself if it means I could mean more? I know I can be more, with some forgiveness and insight. I don't want to commit suicide. I'd like to commit to life.